Here we are, kids.
Here we are, is right as I fix
Start us off, honey.
Well, welcome everyone. As I fix my Warriors hat, because we just walked in from a very, very fruitful, complete day being out in the Rockaways in New York. And that is way out towards Long Island on the Atlantic Ocean.
Way out.
Way out. And if I tell you in the freezing rain, it was 27 degrees. That's, 34, felt like 27, according to my phone. And we were one with the community. And we did everything outside. We had our Thanksgiving giveaway sponsored by the Warriors, and we handed out tons of Goya foods, jackets, hats, gloves, socks, toiletries, diapers to the community. And a great big shout out to Goya Foods for sponsoring and helping us always with all the food we want. And also to Zeldin Cares. They came along, our good friends, and brought a lot of their books.
Lee Zeldin, who is going to be the EPA, I think EPA
That's
head.
Right. This hat looks crazy, everybody, but we got to go with it.
Your hat looks fine.
There we go. Lee Zeldin, yes, who will be part of the Trump administration. He generously donates books K through 12. And so we had those. Now, bear in mind, it's windy, everything's blowing, and people showed up with children in droves. And I have to tell you also, shout out to all of you who had donated goods for this giveaway. We had beautiful jackets for babies and children. It was really tremendous. And I want to point out, I love it so much because the people are real. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh my God.
They are, salt of the earth. They are just genuinely good people you may never hear about in your entire lives. And I'll take these people over all the ones we know in Washington and all the ones we know in Hollywood and all the ones we know running around this great city of ours, New York City. These are the people. These are the people I want to be with. These are the women and men that are trying so hard and doing. They are the true warriors. So I'm honored. I'm honored that they welcomed us into their community today, and we did our Thanksgiving giveaway. So that's what I want to start with on this Friday night ventilation.
And it is a cold and nasty, rainy, horrible day.
And then, and I must thank you, my warrior husband, who
that's right,
who helps me with all of this. And to top it all off, Dick Morris does a program called Democracy on Newsmax. And Dick wanted me to appear on the show, which is, I guess I can say it, filmed today, but airs live tomorrow, 3:30 and 7:30 p.m. on Newsmax. And so my saint of a husband, in my Warriors gear, I usually don't do interviews looking like this. And I said, Dick, I'm on the road. I'm in the wind.
He didn't care.
He said, I don't care where you are.
I don't care.
He said, I don't care where you are. Get on. We're filming. Get on, because I have really educated him, to his credit.
That's true.
To his tremendous credit. I met him at an event sometime last year, and he was talking about the Trump administration, Biden. And I just, at the end of it, I just wouldn't let him go. I said, listen, the one issue we need to get on everybody's agenda is the open borders, the kids being trafficked into sex and labor and disappearing, including forced servitude. And to his credit, I have to say, he said to me, Lynn, I don't really know too much about this. Will you come educate me? I want to talk about this. So I've kind of become his go-to person. I'll send him things. And this week, a lot was happening with the border.
Absolutely.
And I said, let's do it. And not hearing anything, not getting our Zoom link, our connection. But then he's like, I'm like, I can, but I never turned down an opportunity. And so we had to pull the car over off of, I don't know where we were, the Long Island Expressway. My poor husband, such a saint.
Mm-hmm.
And connect and this and that. And you know what? He's just a terrific guy, Dick Morris. He's very supportive of our work at the Warriors and always helps us. And so we want to give him a shout out, along with Newsmax, for having us on to talk about these very urgent issues. So I'm going to start with that. What would you like to talk about on this Ventilation Friday? I want to start kind of with Pam Bondi, not to jump in.
Please do.
Well, I want
I'm
you to
just
talk
checking
about it.
something up. No,
I see you're busy doing.
I got to check something
You're
right
doing
now.
something right
I'm
there.
checking on something right now.
Yes. Protect the innocent, according to Skip Intro. Mayor of the City of London, Delbert said it best, standing on shaky ground. Okay. Ohio is freezing too. Yes.
Delbert
Kay.
McClinton.
Yes. I'm trying to see what the glasses with the hat. With
Sometimes they're cryptic.
Okay. And it also lags. And I know I talk
Little
fast.
bit.
I'm going to slow down.
A little bit.
But the chat lags. So sometimes I'm not sure
It lags.
what somebody's talking about by the time I get there. Pam Bondi. I know you worked with her in the past. I like that she's a female. I have to admit, I like that. And I want to see some more women in positions. You know my feelings about Matt Gaetz. I was relatively quiet about Matt Gaetz, and hear why, everybody, because I'm the first one at the front of the line. Anything about sex trafficking, any of that. However, we go by the rule of law, right? And these were allegations, correct?
Correct.
Nothing was at this point proven, shown. He wasn't kicked out of Congress, whatever was going on. But here's where I really took offense. I took offense because all of these, I shouldn't say all, I should say a lot of organizations that we work with, different coalitions, because, you work with bipartisan across the United States, with trafficking, with domestic violence, because remember, the two intersect each other. They don't exist alone, pretty much. And as I've been screaming and yelling and saying, let's take to Times Square about the sex trafficking of unaccompanied minors at the border, what is happening to now everybody's finally admitting over the 500,000 kids missing from the border. We know the cartels are working hand in hand with the Biden-Harris administration. I like to always say Biden-Harris because after all, she said, well, I was right there for everything. So
she was the last one in the room.
Exactly. Yep. So Biden-Harris administration. And I've been yelling about this for 4 years. We know these kids are getting in cars, unvetted sponsors. What are these NGOs doing on the border? Nobody had answers for me. So none of these organizations, and they are aplenty from our state capital in Albany, throughout New York, and also on the federal level throughout the United States. If nobody wanted to talk about all of that, when we have all these facts, I'm not talking about Matt Gaetz. So there you go. I didn't do any sign-ons. I don't really talk about it, but I did have a lot of people reaching out to me about it. And I've remained rather mum, because if you can't also talk about everything, I'm not going to talk about just that. So that was my feeling. So Pam Bondi, I'd like to meet with her and
we will.
And reinforce,
she's very good. She's from Tampa, went to my law school. She's was in our state attorney's office. She was very, very good. I've got nothing but good things to say about her. But by the way, I got to show something recent. I was looking at a couple of things here.
What are you doing?
Matt Gaetz is looking really kind of like lost. His wife is like really pushing him, like, wait a minute. Like, isn't this the greatest thing in the world? And isn't isn't all this stuff that she's saying? And it's as though she's trying to show that he's doing, like, isn't he great? He's unemployed and you could tell he doesn't want this. And if I could swear, I think on his Twitter he had Cameo. Did I see this?
No, not where they do little blurbs.
Let me show you something. Like you tell me.
$5. Remember George Santos did that? He did. He made a lot of money. He claimed he made a lot of money from that. He could pay all his bills.
Now let me show you something.
This Cameo is
let me just show you something. Here's Matt Gaetz.
Yes. Now he's
okay.
got the check
this
mark.
is former Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
Former Matt Gaetz. This is here. This is old. See, this is 11/13. So the new one shows
now
this.
Do the new one with
the new one says Matt Gaetz, and it says here Florida man. Okay.
Okay. Click on that.
Okay.
link.
Okay. Wait. Hold it. You got to wait a second. This is 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. All this is new. So this is new stuff. It seems like it's new stuff. It doesn't say parody or anything. And here it is, Cameo. Looks like him, Matt Gaetz.
Ask a question, receive a pep talk from Matt Gaetz. I don't want to.
I hope this is a parody thing. That's
it's
all
not.
I'm saying.
It's 3 million followers. I believe that's his account. 'Cause
This
then
is a lot of, they got a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff on this guy. And that
Yes.
creepy fellow he worked with from the tax collector's office. Remember him?
the one that's in jail now.
Right.
Look, the whole thing kind of stinks. Remember, where there's smoke,
Forgive
there's
me.
fire.
Just, all of a sudden, I got like 50 of these emails I got to respond to, like
well,
right this moment, or
Okay,
else.
you
So
handle
you
you
talk.
handle that while I carry.
You talk.
I will carry on.
Carry on.
Oh yeah, we have more Diddy. We'll get into that. You two are too cute. You know what? We are cute.
She got it.
And we are cute. Yeah, tax guy. So let's talk about some other stuff. I have to say something. This new movie, Wicked, opened today, right?
Listen to this. You're not going to believe this one. Go ahead.
I now have kind of I don't want to call it a fight. I'm having kind of a disagreement with everybody, which is fine because I always stand my ground as a warrior.
Disagreement with whom?
The public, AMC theaters, whatever, just my take on it. Okay. Is unique, I will say. And Wicked is based, the movie, on the hit Broadway show, which has been over 20 years now on Broadway and always in the top 5 shows on Broadway for all these decades now. And so they started, I believe, maybe 5 years ago, filming this with Ariana Grande and also Cynthia Erivo that I've known from Broadway. And then there was we had the strikes going on in Hollywood. We had COVID. We had all kinds of things happening. Okay. So the movie was kind of put on hold. I heard they retooled some of it, refilmed some of it. The movie's now 5 hours, but they're breaking it down. Part 1, which opened today across America in AMC theaters, is 2 hours and 40 minutes. They have not announced part 2 yet, but I'm sure they're going to milk this all they can and bring out maybe next Thanksgiving would be my guess.
Okay.
Part 2. The good news is, remember, it used to be they would break all these big movies like Thanksgiving weekend, Christmas weekend,
Yes,
New Year's, Easter weekend. They're getting back to that a little bit, which I kind of like. But here's the problem, everybody. The problem is AMC theaters put out an advisory. Not only an advisory beforehand, it will be up on the screen before the movie starts. Silence is golden. You are not allowed to sing along. Now, remember, it's a movie musical. Also, remember,
with kids,
it is so well branded, and the brand appeals to children who may have been children 20 years ago, maybe parents now, if they were teens then. So we have this multi-generational. We have children, little kids, teens, parents, and grandparents. It's one of those. And they said you cannot sing along with this movie. I don't know how you go. The little girls are going to dress up. Teens too are doing it. In the Wicked, you're going to be a good witch, a bad witch, whatever you're going to be. It's one of those shows where people dress up, and you're going to sit very still. And when you hear "Defy Gravity," which I can't even help, and I don't even sing, but I can't help when I hear it. I'm singing.
I've never seen it.
How do you sit on your hands, and how do you not sing along? Now, it's incredible. I want kids to sing. We want kids to sing. We want kids to go to, movies, have fantasies, be creative, dress up if you want to dress up. We want this Wicked was made for children on Broadway. Now, they've announced, I will give them this, they announced Christmas Day, it will be a sing-along. But other than that, I don't know how you go. Are they going to throw you out of the theater? And the other thing, am I hogging?
No.
Okay.
God, your hands are cold.
I'm freezing. I'm on the Rockaways. We're on the Atlantic Ocean out there with the 27 degrees. But they have branded with 400 companies, like Horizon.
Jaguar?
Verizon. No, not that I know about. Let me recheck the list, though. But it's like Verizon. It's H&M. It's Ulta Beauty. All these different companies making special makeup, shoes, all kinds of products, hairbrushes, clothing, to appeal just in time for Christmas, everybody, and the holidays, to get the parents and grandparents and caretakers, to buy these things. And I find it very offensive. You can't sing along. We want kids to put down the devices.
Hold on. Kelly says, love you both. Cute beanie, Mrs. L. That's what she wore
just,
today.
these are our Warriors colors. You know, it's blue.
And go to your Twitter account to see the pictures.
Yes,
all the
I put pictures, although my beanie looks a little lopsided, but I just want to explain why it's blue.
Wait a minute. Go to Lynn's Warriors, and you can see all the pictures from today, all the gang. Proceed. I'm sorry.
No, Evan, there's no heating issue, Evan. We just came in from the Atlantic Ocean and like
Evan's being funny. Honey, you don't understand. They want to be funny.
Oh.
It's this is the way they joke. They don't mean anything by it.
Okay, well, I'm
It's
a
not
little
funny.
I'm a little too literal. You know how I am.
Anyway,
Where was I?
the
The blue.
The blue boat.
I want to explain the blue represents human trafficking. The color blue, because those who are trafficked have a very blue, sad heart, and it just represents human trafficking. So our colors are really blue. That's it. So I wore a blue beanie today with blue
speaking
gloves.
of which, when Mamma Mia came, I saw this years ago, and when they first came out, when it first came out, people were singing along.
Well, look at the chat. What they're saying.
Yeah,
Rocky Horror was a sing along.
Well, let me finish my story.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so as they did this, both Bjorn and Benny, the writers, said we never anticipated this. So after I saw it, I saw what happened. But afterwards, they said, "Listen, we'll make a deal with you. If you promise not to sing, we'll sing all the songs at the end." And at the end, they all came out and sang the song. It was the best concert you've ever seen, because when Broadway does it, it's better. The music is better. So anyway, so that's what happened. People felt they wanted to sing, and they said you can't ruin it, because they were singing at the wrong speeds, and you remember Mamma Mia.
Yeah, but people are in the aisles singing, or all that. But anyway, I just want to reiterate, it is geared towards children feeling good. Movie business has been in the toilet, as everybody knows. This should be their opportunity to let the kids sing. Right?
By the way, let me just say something right now. Leanne says, by the way, she's a brand new member. She says, Wicked has absolutely no appeal for me. I will not be watching.
Okay.
Well, let me explain something to you in terms of on Broadway. The number one absolute money powerhouse were Phantom years ago,
Lion King,
not the producers, not Hamilton, none of that stuff. But the movie that people saw, how many times did they see it each time?
Well, the Broadway show. The average was 5 to 7 times. Repeat customer.
Listen to what I'm saying. 5 to 7 times they saw it. They bought loads of merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
They saw it, each person, 5 to 7 times. Now, here's the thing. Whether you watch it or not, doesn't matter. I know what you mean. I understand. That is the one you want to put your money on. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll say things like, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to go say that. I'm not going to see it either. But when you do see it, you see something. Ariana Grande is phenomenal. She may have some issues.
I wish she'd eat a hamburger or a donut.
Yeah, she doesn't look well.
Because she looks very different to me than she did a couple of years ago. And she's young to have what I believe is, like plastic surgery and all that. But she's an incredible singer.
But she is the closest thing to what we would say would be, she and Lady Gaga, I think, are two of the best natural, honest to God singers. Ariana Grande is probably better. Real singers.
Christina Aguilera, she can
really?
sing. She can.
No
Celine
auto-tune.
Dion can sing.
Oh my God.
Those are some good ones.
Yep.
Whether you like them or not, they can sing. But again, I want the kids to experience joy. I want kids to sing. A little girl again, or a little boy, if they want to stand up and sing the song that all the kids know, Defying Gravity, let them be. So I want to see how this plays out, because this is not going to work if kids start singing along. And you know what? The adults will start singing too. So I just want to point out that I want to follow this. I know it opened in a couple of theaters Wednesday, and they're doing extremely well. At least that's what they're saying. And remember, we don't believe everything we read or hear.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. However, I do predict this will be a tremendous blockbuster this holiday season. And with the merchandising and going into the holidays and Santa Claus and all that stuff and Hanukkah, I do think, because we're not offering kids any kind of movies these days. Let's think about it. We've got those, what are they called? Action Avengers, whatever those things are.
Yep.
I think people are sick of those, all financed out of China kind of thing. So they are. And so let the kids, I think this is a good thing. And hopefully it'll be the start of more children's movies. Don't you remember that whole spate of movies, maybe going back to like the 90s, where, we'd run to the theater on a Friday because something was opening kind of thing. Yeah. So we have that going on.
And let me also say something. Hollywood, do not be surprised if there's going to be a correction in terms of trying to deal with getting away from this woke whatever this stuff you want to call it. Because a lot of people, when it comes out of the bottom line, are going to tell their people, look, enough of this. Enough of this. You're killing us.
Well, what do you think?
There's Lori Lewis, by the way.
There's Lori. Hi, Lori. Happy Friday night. What do you think happened with this Jaguar, this car company? When everybody's pulling out of DEI and pulling out of this wokeness, what's your take on what's going on with that company?
It's some idiot, some absolute idiot who thought it'd be a great idea to do this even after what do I say? After Bud Light. After, what was his name? Gavin Mulvaney. What's his name?
Dylan Mulvaney. I
right.
forgot about it for a
Remember
minute.
that one?
Dylan Mulvaney. So that's why I'm asking you, why would this, as it's been petering out somewhat, and very quietly, a lot of companies dropped all those policies within. Why would they do this? Seriously, I can't think of a reason. I haven't thought about it too much, but I can't think of a reason why anybody would do this right now with a company like that. But anyway, the other thing, I think I saw something go by before, and I think they meant, is Radio City Christmas show still there? I think it's RCA, but I think that's what they meant.
I don't know, honey. I'm doing something right now. Let's keep talking.
Okay. So I wanted to
you can see me deep in thought right here.
I know what's going on here. There's a lot happening here. Yes, the Rockettes, and I have to tell you, they've started really pushing that show. It is tremendous. I think on some days they do like 5 shows. I don't know how they do it. It might have started fairly recently. The whole show, it goes right through like January 5th.
We're also seeing, and you're going to be seeing, and we don't know. I don't understand the Jaguar.
I'm sorry, I said Jaguar. It's Jaguar.
No, I didn't say that, honey. You got to let me finish. I'm saying it's pronounced Jaguar in the UK. Now, in this country, some people say Jaguar for reasons I will never understand. For reasons I do not understand, people will say, not everybody, but they say Jaguar. Now, the question is, why after Bud Light would they dare to do this staple?
That's what I'm asking you.
This classic. And other than what, Aston Martin, we saw one today. Let me also tell you something.
Yeah, we did see one. Yeah.
Let me just say something to you. Any car that becomes the SUV version looks like everything else. We're right around where we are here. They have Bugattis, Lamborghinis, Rolls, Bentley. We saw a Rolls SUV. It looks like an SUV.
Well, explain. They have the car showrooms.
Yeah, but the car showrooms, yes. Yeah. But we got this high end. But anytime you make an SUV out of anything, they look like SUVs. It ruins the design. We saw an Aston Martin today. Look at this. Jeff says, look at this. Thank you. I can't stand to hear Jaguar. I know. I've heard this my whole life. Groceries. There's another thing too I'm hearing more and more of.
Groceries.
You know who says this? Candace Owen. Straight. ST is SHT. A lot of times it's regional.
I was going to say it's regional for
but let me get this straight in the street.
But we might sound funny to them.
No, we don't. Brad Rung says Jag had this in the works for years and have so much invested that they could not turn back. They're in so deep that it's the point of no return, just like Yugo. Oh, the Yugo's a classic.
Yeah, a Yugo is a classic car. I mean,
absolutely
can't compare. Please.
Another thing too is we're seeing something, and I want people to understand. Going back to this, Matt Gaetz was really a stupid choice. I don't know what the point of that was.
Yeah, I didn't get it
I don't
myself.
understand it. I mean, I liked him in the Congress. I like when he really let people have it. I thought he was very, very great cross-examiner. But there's something wrong. And you know who's very disappointed? His wife. Because she's thinking, now what do we do? Now what do we do? I'm not suggesting that was an arranged marriage. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him. But he's a weird dude. Remember the son? Nestor?
Well, I don't know what I should say because,
well, we speak.
It's just, you know what, though? I always thought this was a very weird choice because, again, I always go by the rule. He was not found guilty as of right now of anything. However, I'm going to say it again, where there are, that smoke, there's a little fire. Why? I thought it was a poor choice.
Yeah, we don't need this.
In my mind, the first thing I said to you is he'll never make it through. And sure enough, but and I don't think Trump needs any negativity. Everything's good.
But maybe there's a way that he can do something else in a capacity that does not need any kind of a specific what am I trying to say?
Like what would that be? So he's out of Congress and claims he's never going back or something.
Something like Tom Homan, somebody that does not need an advisory capacity, somebody that does not need Senate confirmation. By the way, they say this Bessent is going to be secretary. Linda McMahon's all pissed off, supposedly, because she didn't want education. That's the first on the chopping block.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So she didn't want it. They just announce it and say you're getting it.
They kind of did.
Come to you first.
They kind of did.
Because she's got stuff going on in her background too. But you mean they just announce it? They don't vet you and come and talk?
No, it's not like we're going to ask you to do certain things. We'll put you up for a couple of things. And some people would say, look, just give me something like who is it? Somebody got agriculture, transportation. Listen, just being in there. Every agency has billions of dollars of money in their what am I trying to say? In their coffers, as it were. So that's it. X, by the way, says nothing. Thank you. Now, what do you think about Elon Musk maybe buying? This could be all nonsense. Maybe buying MSDNC. Isn't that wonderful?
I personally think he's trolling. Probably planted the story, and that thing is just going out of business, frankly. And what I think they'll do, shut it down. They'll have some snappy name like, I don't know, America with you or something. They'll have weird, and then
it'll have one name. I think they're going to keep like not stars. They're going to keep Bravo or something.
No, but I'm saying as far as the news division, if you could call it that,
the news division,
that's nothing. And
do you know how many people would watch if he unveils X Vision? Oh my God. And somebody said if he could just run a news division straight from the headlines of X, the whatever. He has so much money and can make anything magic just by doing it. Do you know how many people would watch that? Have any idea? I think there's something a little bit to it. Brad Rung, by the way, says, they say we're trying to sniff out the rhino senators and see what the rebuttals would be so they could adjust, and Gates was selected to the next Congress. No, that sounds like they know exactly before they do this. They know all the votes. They know all the objections. They know all the dirt. They know everything that's going to be released and not released. They know all the stories about the allegations with this fellow from Florida who really is in some serious stuff. They know all about this. So nothing was caught off guard, and they don't send him out to have him maybe as some kind of a not as a troll, but as a test case or something as a what am I trying to think? A decoy or something? No. Proceed, darling. I'm sorry.
I don't know where I was.
Concerning Johnny Mass says, concerning is Jay Leno sad? What happened to him? I don't believe anything. There are, as you can tell, a spate, a veritable bevy of suggestions of all kinds as to what happened, up to and including somebody roughing him up for whatever.
It looks beaten.
The idea that he took a shortcut to go to dinner and fell down could be. I mean, but believe it or not, there are a lot of more. How do I say this? Are people saying, that's not what happened? Look who it is. Everybody's favorite, Lori Partridge, says Gates won the election. Can't he swear in next Congress? I think so, but Lori, why does he want to do this? Who wants him to come back?
Nobody does.
And draw all the attention away. Yeah. Sometimes people, it may be unfair, maybe not to their liking, but he is so tainted and such a distraction.
I agree.
Now, you know who's going to be next, and I don't know, is Hexeth. Just wait about that.
I didn't care for that choice. That's just me personally. Yeah.
There may be some stories about some out of court or some kind of a settlement from Fox. Who knows? Don't be surprised if that comes up. Now, remember, there comes a point when you can say, all right, the thing about Gates was that 17-year-old. That was that title changed everything. Plain old sexual dalliances, inappropriateness, different story.
That's all over Capitol
Hill. O'Reilly. Who was that guy who flashed his gugoots at somebody? What's his? Eric Bowling and there's all these people who just go down the list.
But the Gates thing went into sex trafficking. Allegations of sex trafficking. That he was using Nestor, the adopted son's Venmo.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. And I think, what do I think about Matt Gaetz? For some reason, I think his time is over, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything for him right now. I think he needs to go away for a while.
Yep.
And that's what I think. For some reason, I say to you now, like, sometimes things are just over. I think he's a case for me. When I look at him, it's kind of just over.
Evan says, in no way do I expect thick newspapers to return, but I do miss them. I miss them too. And one of the reasons why, and is that I think you always find something. You find stories that are different when you go through it. And when you look, there's always things I like. Broadsheets, tabloids, doesn't matter. Brad Rung says, hearing Bongino might be the next Secret Service. Well, everybody's been saying that one. He was with the Secret Service. What happened with him and Fox? What was that all about?
We never found out.
Never found out about that. We were today, as we were driving to the Far Rockaway, in the Yugo, a stretch. Boy, the way the looks we got. So we had on the transistor, and I'm listening to this Fox News, and I'm telling you, that is such low-hanging fruit. Today is the 61st, not anniversary, but the 61st, I guess, of JFK's assassination. Nothing. They didn't talk about it at all. They talked about Netanyahu's warrant. They were like, do you understand what's going on? They're so bad. I haven't listened that long because I just wanted to hear what they were saying about, what the latest things was. Also, Rudy's case, they couldn't even get the story right. Is it on hold? Is it postponed? Is it stayed? Is it frozen? Trump's going to win that case regarding Bragg. He's going to win that case. But nobody could really tell the truth. And you know who the worst one was? Jason Chaffetz. The worst. Absolutely the worst. And you know who else is a real puker? I forget this. As Joe Concha. What the hell's going on here, everybody? He sounds like this. He's cornball. Couldn't take
the style.
Couldn't take. Harris Faulkner always acting upset. And the Campagno. Hello, I am Campagno. I mean, it's horrible. There's no depth to what's going on here.
No, people have to really do their own investigating work and find sites and things and people to listen to. I do think, though, something else that really upset me this week was the hearing that Mayorkas
and Ray
and Christopher Wray, FBI, Homeland Security, when the commission on Capitol Hill had the hearing, and they just didn't show up, right? They just didn't show up.
Yeah, they said, we'll send you.
Well, they wanted to do it in private.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You think by now, and there were a lot of Democrats speaking out against them for doing this, okay? When we have so many national security threats, we have wars, we got all kinds of stuff going on. Just such a slap in the face, kind of middle finger type, excuse my language, everybody, situation. But here's what I said to you earlier. Knowing the way these people have been acting, why aren't the Republicans, or, why aren't they, can you subpoena before, you have to wait till they don't show up?
Oh, for contempt?
They should be prepared beforehand. Obviously, the day after Lake and Riley and that whole situation, that poor girl and all the girls and women, they're going to show up and talk about security with open borders. That's my take on it. But can you subpoena
Steve Bannon basically went to.
He didn't go. Right.
Let me say, Steve Bannon went to jail or prison, whatever it was, for contempt for refusing. So I don't understand why somebody in the office, they can get around it. They can say, look, I'm not necessarily refusing to show up. I'm going to do something in lieu of that. Mayorkas, how he is, look, let me explain something.
Disgusting person.
Jim Jordan and all these other people, the Republicans can't do anything. They've never been able to do anything. They have no teeth. They're not like Tom Homan. I think Tom Homan is just chomping or champing at the bit to get something done. The rest of them don't do anything. Nothing. Where's Cory Booker? Where's Ivanka? Where's all these people? I mean, Ivanka, I don't want her back.
Well, I have a better question. We need new people. I don't care about those old people that were doing things and now not doing anything. Where are the younger people to step up? Like what's going on? Because even, for instance, Senator Marsha Blackburn, she's wonderful, does a lot of families and kids things. We're working so hard this lame duck session on Kids Online Safety Act. It's 3 years old already. There is still a chance we can push it through in the next few weeks. If not, we start from the bottom, have to work our way up with the new Congress. But, even I was thinking about this the other day, she's even in her 70s. There's a lot of them on Capitol Hill that are older. We have to get, more Nancy Maces, more women, more, younger, because these other ones are not going to be there that much longer. I mean, that's just the reality, the truth of what I'm telling you. But I want to know about young people stepping up into these roles, because even here in New York City, what people really don't realize is the importance of voting, for instance, for the New York City Council or your town council, your city council. That is where your local laws, legislation is passed. And our last election, we had all 52 seats up for grabs, right? And the turnout of eligible voters was 8%. But then people complain, 8% of eligible voters. So as we gear up for that again, we have to get in there and train people, in these areas about being a council member, number one. And number two, getting people out to vote. And I don't want to hear it's New York City, it's blue, it's this and that, because Lee Zeldin, actually Republican, almost was very close when he ran for governor. And we saw, which nobody talks about too much, these different areas in New York for Trump.
Oh, especially.
The numbers are climbing up.
Did you see this?
Oh my goodness.
Because Amanda Bynes? What happened to her?
I don't know.
By the by,
she was in Hollywood, and that's what happened to her. Keep your kids out of Hollywood.
Birthdays today: Jamie Lee Curtis, 66. Richard Kind, 68. I like him. Tina Weymouth, Talking Head, 74. Stephen Van Zandt, 74.
Wow.
Billie Jean King, 81. Astronaut Guillaume Bluford, 82. I don't know who that is.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm just going to say
Stevie and I used to be the best, but we used to kind of live next to each other, so to speak. And we used to talk into the eve about radio, and he wanted to do radio. And he was just a good egg. And then he kind of went a little bit nuts. He went crazy with that Sun City stuff with South Africa.
That's what did it.
Then he went nuts with Trump. And they just don't know how to keep their mouth shut. but he really is he's a good egg. I mean, I've always
I don't
liked
know.
it.
I'm reevaluating people I thought were good eggs. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I hate everybody with the exception of you. Everybody's full of everybody.
Not everybody. Look at the good people we were with today.
The best.
Down to earth, grandmas, moms, young mothers. No, those were good people.
There was, I would say it was virtually the exception of a couple, 100% Black, African American. And these nice, I like the woman who says, I said, hi, how are you? He goes, my name is Miss Barbara. I said, ooh, I like this. Even then, there was a certain, reminds me of the kind of the South. They were today, I thought, some of the kindest, nicest. And I thought to myself, it sounds like it's almost like a version of that Roxanne thing. I'd rather be with you than the nicest people on the earth or the planet. But we know these people, and I can only speak for me, who are just so full of it. They just think they're so much better, and I can't stand being with them. I enjoyed listening and just talking to people who are honest to God, who were sincere and cared about something other than, because this is about you. You made, what really broke my heart? When you were handing out diapers. Diapers are so expensive, and feminine products. Nobody wants to talk about that too. People kind of laugh because they get nervous about it. But this period poverty, there are young women and people who don't even have basic feminine products.
Or they just, I mean, I know it's a family show, everybody. They'll just keep, for instance, a diaper on a baby. They'll have 2 for the whole day or 1 for the whole day. The baby gets diaper rash. Baby has to go to a pediatrician. It's a burden on the healthcare. Same for the period products. We don't lay them out on tables. The diapers we do because they're bulky and big and beautiful. And shout out for a couple of people who might be on here. I'm not sure who donated those things, but the girls and women get infections and things like that. They don't go to work. There's all studies about this. I'm not just saying this. They don't go to school because they're embarrassed. They don't have supplies. And that is why I don't even want to bring them up, because I feel like it was a bad nightmare that has gone away. But when that Tim Walls, which I can never figure out why he was chosen.
How about his daughter? His daughter lately?
I don't know. She had a mental health breakdown or something like that.
She didn't bathe?
And she said she didn't brush her teeth for 3 days. And I said to you, she makes a video about, I don't bathe. I couldn't brush my teeth. I said, why couldn't she at least brush her teeth?
No idea.
But anyway, when I had to hear.
What's the longest you've ever gone without brushing your teeth?
Never. What are you talking about? I do it like 10 times a day. What are you?
What's the longest you've ever gone without bathing? We can't do that.
What are you talking? It's like an everyday occurrence.
We can't do it.
It's part of our.
I can't do it.
No. And listen, we've all, whatever, you're house cleaning or you're gardening or you're something. So maybe you shower later in the day.
Or maybe you're sick. You get the flu or something.
But don't you always, when you do bathe, feel so much better?
Oh my God.
You just feel good, right? And clean and fresh and things like that. But when I heard that video of her,
I got sick,
saying, I can't even brush my teeth. But let's go back. Let's be
serious. Can you imagine the fungating peixe?
No, stop. Stop it. It's disgusting, and she's disgusting.
Fitusa.
But listen, that we had to talk about tampons in boys' bathrooms. That's with World War III upon us, in my opinion. All of this, housing insecurity, homelessness, whatever you want to call it, people trying to pay their bills, take care of their kids, rent, mortgage, car payments. What we do at the Warriors, just so you understand, we scout out, and there's so many of them here in New York. We've been covering lately. Very communities you'll never hear about that need things. You're never going to hear about these people. You're not going to know them.
No.
They're quiet. They're good people. A lot of them are of faith. They really are. Did you notice that?
Yep.
They were blessing me today.
Yes.
And hugging me, because I brought some diapers. Women cry when they get some diapers. Some of the grandmas, I made up little toiletry sets and things like that.
The saddest thing.
And the other thing I am amazed about, I'm going to use that word. We have so many good things for free, right? We go into the community. We set, usually within an hour, everything's gone, right? Because it's free. People are so respectful. They'll take one thing. they'll ask,
Yes.
may I take one? I'm very surprised about that, because when you hear free, you think like people would fill a shopping bag, right? Which we're not allowing, because we want to have as many distributors as many people. They're so respectful. I'm finding out. That's kind of shocking to me. They're really like, and I'll say like, oh, my daughter would like this. I say, take one for your daughter too. You know, they'll say like, I'm taking this for my daughter. And I'll be like, what about you? Take some of this shampoo for, can I? And I say, yes, please take one for you. I am finding it incredible. And that's what this season of giving is certainly really all about. And I have to do it again because I can't help myself. But a great big shout out to Goya Foods, family-owned business. The best pallets of food, feeding the vulnerable, feeding all of us. To see the faces today, get a couple of cans of beans and rice and stuff like that, and so happy, is worth everything. So what a great company. They also have their Goya Cares program, which they do a lot in January for Human Trafficking Month. So
yes,
you know, we'll partner with them on
not only that, we have
good people.
We are we are huge Goya fans. By virtue of the beans and the food. It's
but they make cookies now. They have all kinds of things.
But it's so healthy and healthful.
Oh,
it really is. I mean, if you could do great, not larding it up with, you know, a lot of the other stuff that people add to it. But in any event, how about Lake and Riley this week? That
heartbreaking. Never should have happened. I think that's why Mayorkas, I really do. And Ray did not show up because somebody was going to bring that up to them. And had just that monster. I don't know any other word. That monster. It was just the day before he was sentenced to life in prison, no parole at all. I don't know, wasting our taxpayer dollars on this guy. He'll get his 3 meals a day and his health and all that. I can't think about it. That poor girl, thinking about how the parents sat in the room, her roommates, her sister. They chose, when the judge said, do you want to leave the room? They were going to be showing pictures and they were going to play her phone. And, you know, it was so heartbreaking. The mother.
Explain with the phone. By the way, Nelson A says, you are a true warrior, Ms. Lynn.
Thank you.
And we send billions to Ukraine. Sad this is happening in the USA. Absolutely.
Exactly, which is what prompted us to say, let us use our wherewithal and relationships and get going. And we do it kind of quietly. We don't make a big splash what we do at the Warriors. But again, thank you for saying that, because these people are so good, so appreciative. And as I talk to a lot of the women today, you know, they want to teach their children and grandchildren. It's mostly like kind of grandmas there today, actually. And because the daughters are out working, the kids are in school. A couple of them were telling me. And I talked about, you know, we'll talk about digital safety at the Warriors, and their eyes lit up and all. So these are the real people, not all the faux fancy ones running to places. I edited myself on that one kind of thing. And this is what we should all be concerned with in our neighborhoods or surroundings. Somebody who needs a couple of cans of soup or a couple of cans of beans, or everybody can do just a little something, and you'll feel so much better that you provide it.
By the by, Med Rush says, is it ironic that he got life in prison? Why does he get to live? The reason why is because Gonzalez, I think the prosecutor, a Soros appointee, agreed and stipulated and only sought a maximum of life. It was her doing. It would be her doing.
We have to get those people out.
Did you see what MSNBC wrote? Did you see this?
I saw it today, but I can't even address it because I also, everybody get ready. I believe the big fight will be, I don't want to get in front of Tom Homan or in his way about taking the illegal aliens and getting them out of our country. People do have to understand, it starts with, he's not banging on doors and ripping kids from arms of parents. It is starting with getting the over 1 million of the criminal ones, these horrible trendy Aragua, getting them, it starts there, out of the country. But did you see, for instance, these mayors like Massachusetts and our governors? They're going to stand. They're all in support of these illegals, and they want them to be safe, and they have human rights. And I don't understand. I really don't.
So
why people are like that.
Jethro Fox says, can't the parents request the sentence? No,
No.
no, because it is the state of Georgia versus Ibarra, whatever his name was, not the family versus. Now they have something they can do in the victim's impact statement. Their views are obviously very important. In some Middle Eastern countries, the only ones who can even grant mercy or clemency are the family members. But either way, what is going to happen? How about this new guy they got? They brought in who broke, listen to this.
Close to here.
Close to here, but also he broke into a woman's house. She is a DA, an assistant DA with Alvin Bragg's office, one of his own.
He's got to go. That guy's got to go.
But wait a minute. But he walks in, he was laughing like, hey, it's me. He's been through this before. He knows I've got nothing. You want to deport me? Deport me. That's okay. This is where we are. I mean, this is how serious this is. And with Bragg, in particular, with what he's done think about this. Donald Trump will have eventually escaped every single charge. I don't know about this Judge Engeron, the 800 or whatever billion dollar judgment. I don't know. That could be tossed by the Court of Appeals. The only one that's stuck is that E. Jean Carroll case, which was handled so
well. He shouldn't have talked
poorly.
Remember that time he kept talking
just
about it
poorly.
That he should have just been quiet about.
He also had what was his name? The lawyer.
Tacopina
or Tapioca.
Tapioca. We used to call him Tapioca. Yeah.
He was the worst. He just kind of went away. And also Trump's lawyer in the Alvin Bragg case, not the woman, she was pretty good, but the man, you don't hear about him. And Alina Habba, she was in the Engeron case. So she just wants, her day in the sun. So also this guy Bessent is going to do it. So far they seem pretty decent. Where's JD Vance? He's very, very quiet.
I asked you this morning. I said I haven't heard much from him.
Gaimala is in Hawaii with Doug. You believe that?
Shameful.
You believe that?
Well, typical. Look at the last 4 years. Typical. I would expect nothing less from her.
Does anybody here buy this marriage between her and Doug? Do you buy it? Do you see any? Do they seem? I don't know what the word is. They're just. She doesn't seem like she can connect with everything. Everything is
but it's like who's running our country right now? Seriously, I've been asking you this because
you saw Joe in the.
Well, I'm asking who's running the country.
I have no idea.
Even though they really weren't, those two. I mean, she's in Hawaii, he's in the bushes, and what's happening?
Listen to this. Tell them what you've been watching lately on Hulu.
What I've been.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'll binge on old series.
I never realized how long.
Well, this is 5 years.
Like, are you still watching this?
Brothers and Sisters. I
Sisters.
do like 5 episodes a night because I'm going back to look at the character development, the writing. Why are you asking about that? I'm almost done. Tonight I might be able to finish it.
Because the writing is so good.
Yes.
The photography, it looks like it could be on today.
Yes.
And I predict we're going to go back
yes.
to actual stories with plots and not Sopranos, which is good, and not Avengers, but real adult stuff. Remember how great 30-something was?
Oh, yeah.
That was terrific.
I'm going to binge on that next.
30-something, and also you before that. Oh, it was Desperate Housewives.
No, I did that whole thing.
That was actually, years. I mean, that was a little bit far-fetched, but at least, remember Ab Fab, Absolutely Fabulous. What were some of your great, how do we say this? Your great, sitcoms. Nothing could compare to the old days of Dallas. Remember Dynasty? How raw that was. I mean, they had some stuff. Remember who was it whose son was gay or something? You're gay. Blake.
Yeah, but
Blake Carrington. Look, my God.
There is a couple of new studies that came out last month that the teens, now listen to this one. You'd think everybody would be promoting this and saying, hooray, this is great news. They're really rejecting this overly sexual content that's been streaming, and they want to go back to TV, I should say streaming, right? Because TV shows, I guess that sounds old-fashioned.
Is this linear?
Well, they want to see relationships. They want to see shows about families. They're rejecting all that crazy stuff. So again, the pendulum is slightly swinging back. And the alpha generation born in 2010. So those kids are 14 and under. They are rejecting even on devices, not getting on the apps. So perhaps we really have made breakthroughs.
We always keep saying that, though. We always keep saying that. Maybe this time. I heard something very interesting.
I think it's happening.
Some of the Gen Ayers or whatever the kids are, they're watching The Sopranos for the first time, and they cannot believe that there was that much cursing, that it was so politically incorrect. When they got Vito and they clubbed him because he was gay, and they used all these words, and also when Tony referred to Meadows' black or boyfriend, but remember that? I mean, they never held back anything. And kids were saying, this is great. When was this on? They've never seen it before. But it wasn't gratuitous. It was, why do you think people love Goodfellas so much?
That's like a
Barney Miller.
Read some of the show. Oh, The Nanny. I love that show.
Sanford and Son.
I love The Nanny.
Twilight Zone, the original one, All in the Family. We saw one time.
No, but then I'm stuck on The Nanny now because the writing on that is so sharp and double entendre. Very well done.
No, it's called double entendre.
Okay, double entendre. That's
how about Lauren Tyler Moore says Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, remember, I binged. Those I've done. So
Mary Tyler Moore, you saw Mary Tyler. Remember we saw one time That Girl. Remember that? Anne Marie.
I didn't finish all of them, but I started binging on That Girl.
Mary Tyler Moore. Remember, they wanted her to be a divorcee, and they said no. She came to Minneapolis. She broke up from her boyfriend, who was the doctor. They were going to get married. They couldn't let her get married. She was going to. Then they said, remember when she talked about the pill? When her mother and father were there, and her mother says, honey, did you take your pill? Meaning the father. And Mary said, yes. And they looked at her, and it was that was as close to it as they got. Remember towards the end of the arc, when they had like Ted had their kids, Oliver, and I mean, it just
kind of lost it.
It just went too far.
But Mary went out once or twice. They didn't say anything, and then came home. They were coming home like the next day in the same clothes with the sunlight outside the window. But they never. Carol Burnett, I still watch. That's on late at night on Me TV.
Ally McBeal, Ally McBeal, and you know who I love too? Vonda Shepard. Vonda Shepard.
And her music.
Vonda Shepard's "Don't Cry, Eileen" is one of my favorite songs. New whatever, her first album, but "Don't Cry, Eileen" is one of the most beautiful songs. And Vonda Shepard met whatever her name is, the McLean. What is her name? The one married to no.
Honey, give me a clue. I can't follow this one.
You married
to what's his
Ally
name?
McBeal. What's her name?
Her name is Callista Flockhart, married to Harrison Ford.
Okay, right. But I'm trying to think of Kelly. I think he was the
writer,
right, or the director. Kelly saw Vonda Shepard. Kelly, who's married to another actress. I can see her.
He's married to the blonde.
Yes. Look at us. Look at us. We're just.
We started this about a week ago.
We've been doing this all day. Oh yeah.
The one.
No names. She just described people.
She was in the movie with Al Pacino.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Is it correct?
David Kelly.
David E. Kelly. That's
David E. Kelly. David E. Kelly saw Vonda Shepard at some local thing and put her on this.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Ally McBeal was terrific. Remember the baby that was dancing? Remember that one?
That was a big thing. Don't you remember?
Huge.
That was like a huge moment. The baby
These
dancing.
things meant something. Carol Burnett was beautiful. What a great. Remember Friday nights growing up as a kid? Wild Wild West. Bum, 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 bum. Robert Conrad and remember Artemis Gordon and Jim West. And
excuse me, I watched the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, Love American Style.
True, we're then the Red, White, and Blue.
Oh, Room 222. I think they were all on in one.
Sung by the Cowsills. Room 222 was Karen Valentine. Michael Constantine was the
I heard terrible stories about him.
really.
Yeah, I mean he's dead now.
He's
He
gone,
played the father in Big Fat Greek Wedding. Remember
right?
that? Yeah, he did. But
He was also in Quincy along with Joe Campanella. They were the three martyrs. Each of them would have some,
yeah, but these shows are still. I'm finding them.
loved
I
them.
think Hulu. There's a whole new slew of programming on Hulu.
A slew on Hulu.
A slew on Hulu. Say that 3 times.
I loved it.
And a lot of these shows are on there. So I'm going back and watching
Taxi was right. All those garages were on the west side here. All of them. And that ensemble was so great. And when Louis De Palma, the line from Louis De Palma when he said
Mannix.
Remember that? Oh, Mannix with Mike Conrad. Gail Fisher was Peggy.
No, but one night.
How about let's see who remembers. I'll tell you one you remember. When I was a kid, Checkmate was Sebastian Cabot. This was really
no. He was with Buffy. Sebastian
wasn't the only thing he ever did. That was with Family Affair. Uncle Beale. Remember that? This guy, Sissy, Jody.
But I don't know why I'm laughing at Mannix because one night I woke up like 2, 3 in the morning and I'm watching Mannix. And you turned around and said to me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm watching Mannix or something.
Of course.
Said, oh, okay.
How about Cannon? Remember how William Conrad, we thought he was so fat? I mean, he was.
Yeah, now he doesn't look that fat to me.
Barnaby Jones, could ever figure out that one? When he was looking through his microphone, microscope. He would always look. Buddy Epson one time was on WABC, and he was kind of getting up there. And I said, Buddy Epson, I forget what he was there for something. Jed Clampett. And I said, wow. And I said, where doggy? And he said, what? I said, where doggy? He said, you said that. Who? Jed Clampett. He looked at me like, I said, oh my God. Who I met too was terrific? Bill Dana. Remember Jose Jimenez? Mm-hmm. Paul Sorvino. Paul Sorvino came in. And I always had these people on my show he was talking about some asthma treatment or something. There was always somebody pushing something, like Bill Dana was pushing something else.
Well, that's the point.
Buddy
Come on
Epson
and promote something.
was pushing something else.
Well, that's the point of the radio. They're always coming on to push a product or a show or a book.
The guy who was not Paladin, but one of these old Western. There's something about meeting these people on the back end of their careers. Oh, William Moss was wonderful, who wrote the book about Sammy the Bull Gravano, who wrote the book Serpico. Peter Moss. In any event.
That was good.
My name, Jose Jimenez. Rin Tin Tin. Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island was still one of the greatest shows in the world. And we always ask the question, why did...
Okay, the show totally, even as a child, annoyed me. Because I just thought, why can't they get off the island? Seriously.
How come...
And it annoyed me as a little kid, okay?
How come the Harlem Globetrotters can do that? Ida Lupino, Don Rickles, Duke... Remember Duke, Tonga, the ape man, Duke, the surfer was the same guy.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Silvers, Harold Hecuba production. Remember that? I want to be loved. Whenever, who was it? We could tell you a great Tina Louise story, but we're not.
And we're not.
Whenever she came out, remember when she would come out, they do that do, 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 do. I say, oh, Ginger's around here somewhere.
But what about, let's get
wait a
back.
minute. And if you watch The Godfather, when they go to Jack Waltz's, remember the horse's head? Dun, 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 dun. That's always the Hollywood with that great Coppola music. The only music they ever played to let you know it was Hollywood or dun, 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 reminded me of Ginger, because they always played that Ginger music.
Like sort of striptease-y,
yes.
Sort of.
Who used to come to WFLA in Tampa all the time was Dawn Wells.
You know what?
Who lived, she's very, very nice. Very nice.
Do you remember when we went to the car wash the other day?
Yes.
Do you remember the music they were playing? It was like strip.
Oh yeah.
Music.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a jazz thing.
No, it was like striptease. It was It was. Come on now.
How
Yeah.
about Gunsmoke? Miss Kitty was a madam.
That's still on MeTV.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it wasn't blatant. It was like kind
the
of.
rifleman, Micah Torrance. All right.
Well, what else?
Captain Midnight. Sorry, Dennis, you got me there.
No, but
buddy.
how about Love American Style? Because I watched that as a kid. That was strange. Those little like segments.
The one fellow who put.
And they had a few regulars. Remember?
Yes, the guy who played Angel. His name was.
Yes.
He had the curly hair. He was always
I
on
know.
there.
I can see his name, and I think he was also in Rockford.
Rockford.
Files.
Yes.
Remember what was his?
You know
name?
who was really scary? I don't know why, but when during the Wild Wild West, Miguelito Loveless. Remember that? It was a little Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn, the little actor. He was a midget. If you could say midget.
Scary.
And then there was also Whoa Fat. Well, that was Hawaii Five-O. But they would have these fat Victor Buono. But this little midget, Michael Dunn was his name, and he played Miguelito Loveless. Sue says Lucy trying to look natural while eating spaghetti, the brown derby with William Holden. Watch. Didn't she have the fake nose and they lit her?
Yeah, but that was a different episode.
It was a different
She was
episode?
lighting a cigarette and lit her nose on fire. Those were good shows.
Loved them. Brad Rung says, watching reruns when I was a kid, The Honeymooners, Leave It to Beaver, Dennis the Menace, Munsters, Addams Family, Mr. Ed, Dukes of Hazzard, Happy Days. Mr. Ed, I just never got into it. Remember Carol? It was Wilbur. What was his name? Remember the actor? Dennis? No.
I see his face.
Yeah. But Wilbur. And they said, what is it? He was an architect. He always went to the barn. He goes, Wilbur. And they had, I think they gave him peanut butter or something. There was something that they were doing for the horse that was actually, it was cruel.
I never really got into
to make
Mr.
them
Ed,
out.
to be
I never
honest with
got it. It's like, okay, you got a horse. He talks. Only talks to you. Doesn't solve it. Remember his,
you. What is that?
I'll tell you a story later about that. But remember his tail went up. He says it's raining in Palm Springs. Remember that? Taxi was still one of the greatest stories. Do you remember on Taxi when Louis caught Nardo? I think she was in the bathroom or something, and he peeped on her, did something, spied on her. Wait a minute. Spied on her. And she was very upset. And Louis was trying to be, I think his apartment is, anyway, it was not in the garage. And she said to him, to Danny DeVito, says, tell me, you've never been embarrassed. You don't know what being embarrassed is. And he says, yes, I do. He goes, what? Tell me. He goes, I don't want to tell you. He would do the, he goes, tell me. I'll only forgive you if you tell me. So he told the story about how when he was a kid, he was so small. No, now he would go in to buy the little boys section, and mothers would tell their kids, don't look at him, don't look at him, this freak buying these little clothes. And he was really great actor about the shame, and the humiliation. And she looked at him and she felt like, you do have a heart. So she goes to hug him. And he grabs her ass right then. He goes, still couldn't do it. At the last moment, you thought, could Louis really be this tough? This sweet person? How about, very quickly, when Jim Ignatowski, remember when they went to Jim's house? He came from the city. Victor Buono was his father. His name was like Weatherington or something. And he said, Jim, where did you get the name Ignatowski from? He said, oh, that's Star Child backwards. He says, no, it's not. He says, it's not? Remember how he went to Harvard, he took one joint, and he turned, anyway, with one of the best. Loved that.
Mary Lou Henry, she has that condition, she claims, where she, you give her a date and she can remember what color her underwear was.
How do you know?
She.
It's one thing when you say it's a Tuesday, whatever.
There's a word for that. I can't.
I know, it's this eidetic memory. I'm
But she'll say like what shoes she's wearing.
Yeah. How do I know?
What she ate for breakfast.
Who cares?
She tells you everything. She tells you like what bills she wrote out.
How about did you ever watch QVC and watch the Paper Chase? Amy Lynch,
Oh,
yes.
that was a good one.
John Houseman, yes.
Good one.
When you walk by, you always walk by Joan Rivers' home.
I do, because when I cross from the west side to the east side, I take a certain path, everyone, and I go across Central Park South and then over 62nd Street to the east side. And Joan Rivers lived at 1 East 62nd Street. I don't think it's a secret.
No.
And I walk on the other side of 62nd. She's on the north side. It's an apartment building, but really kind of looks like a large mansion, I would say. And it's sad because I know she had the 2 floors, and they put the lights on now that it's dark, and and they're just empty. So I thought somebody had bought it a while ago, like 2 years ago or something like that. I know the daughter put a lot of those antiques and all her stuff up for auction, but I keep looking in, and I pass it fairly frequently.
Isn't the chandelier still there?
Yeah, the chandelier is still there, of course, but it's just empty, which is very, I always think of Joan, gives me a little inspiration.
Brad Rung says, listening to the radio classics, I love Our Miss Brooks and Suspense, Johnny Dollar, loved Gail Gordon and Jackie Gleason, George Burns, D. Martin. I wish I knew more about the radio. Gail Gordon was great. Mr. Mooney.
No, Gail Gordon was great.
But on the radio, that's where a lot of them got their start.
Yeah.
I was never a radio, like Our Miss Brooks. Remember we used to listen to these?
No, what was that we went to? Molly? No, the first woman. She was on the
Mrs.
radio.
Goldberg.
Mrs. Goldberg.
Yoo-hoo, Mrs. Goldberg.
Didn't we go to some documentary?
She was on TV.
Okay.
Her show
TV.
was the precursor
years ago, we went to a
to
documentary.
everything. But the neighbors, she breaks the fourth wall, the neighbors who come in, everything that everybody does on, Jerry Seinfeld.
I'm not yelling out the window.
No.
Jerry Seinfeld didn't do that.
We did during COVID.
That's exactly right.
George says, Latka in the famous Amos episode with the cookies. Oh, yes. Latka when the cocaine. Remember that when Jim, why would you bake cocaine in the cookies? That's more of a weed story. But anyway, Jim broke it up and he did like this and he said, Peruvian. And he could fine tune the provenance of the flake that was in this. How about the best Barney Miller, where they brought the hash brownies and everybody was gone, and fish, they said, was jumping from building to building. And they said, the line fish said was, I can't believe it. First time I feel this good and it's illegal. Remember the guy came up to his wife, Bernice. He goes, let me tell you something. That's my wife you're talking to. And he said, what am I saying?
That sounded exactly like Pat Cooper to me, what you just said.
Oh,
you just did that.
Pat Cooper
sounded just like Pat Cooper to me.
Remember him at Premola?
No, I knew you were going to bring that up. No, let's not talk about that.
Everybody know who Pat Cooper is? Pat Cooper, I think, was the precursor to this Maniscalco, and
he really was a gentleman, and he
really
was generous beyond belief. But once he got going, there was no stopping.
We were at a place in the Upper East Side called Premola, and remember when I wanted to pay, I thought he was going to kill me.
That's what I'm saying. Once
I thought he was going to kill me.
You can't stop him. He was out of control. He just was out of control.
One time I saw him on a train, on a subway going uptown, and I felt bad. I just didn't want to talk to him, so I'm kind of like looking down.
Why would you do that?
But anyway, but little bit, somebody went up and with a cup, because he would never take. Whenever he would go on like Stern or whatever, he never took limos. He would take a subway.
He'd walk or take a subway. I met him on the subway one time also.
Yeah. So he one time we'd be doing this stuff, and he know what these black kids, and he goes, hey man, he goes, what is this? Is that the way you pay? Give it. What is this? Hey man. And he was performing for the entire train. They were like, goes, let me show you how to do it. And he had the cup, and he would go through this.
Well, that's what he loved to do.
He was one of a kind. The Bickersons and the Life of Riley Othergrave. You got me there, Rung. You got me there, my friend. I will defer
I
to
was
you.
trying to watch Hazel one night. Remember Hazel?
Shirley Booth, Mr. B,
Hazel.
Don DeForest. What was her name?
Meredith
No.
Baxter's mother.
Bobby Buntrock was a little kid who, remember, he was in the tree throwing paper and they were laughing.
It's weird.
Whitney Blake.
That's her.
Whitney Blake.
Whitney
See,
Blake.
how do I know Whitney Blake, but I don't know David E. Kelly?
Because our minds are.
Evan Webb says Jackie Coogan, great life story.
Oh, that's
oh yeah,
an
huge child
story.
actor, married Betty Grable, flew the Burma hump, and played Uncle Fester. And he was responsible
child labor
for his parents who stole all his money. Jackie Coogan, also Jackie Cooper.
Who's Jackie Cooper?
No, Jackie Cooper was when he was in the
we're talking about Jackie Coogan.
Jackie Cooper was a kid who was in the Little Rascals. Remember how they made him cry?
That show upset me. I would
remember
see
Jackie
reruns
Cooper
when I was little. Yeah.
Remember they would like really make him cry, like your parents are dead.
No, in real life they made him cry. You know what they used to do to kids also? It's terrible. Do you want me to tell you? To make them cry?
Pinch them? What?
They pull out their nasal hairs.
Oh my God.
To make kids cry. What do you think of that? That's child abuse. It's horrible.
Sue says best TV theme song was season 1 of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Who can turn the world on with
Remember when I replicated
smile?
the scene?
Oh yeah. Who can take it someday, suddenly make it?
You took video of that.
Oh yeah.
Where I threw my hat up and did it.
And it was the best. Remember when we said my favorite was when the oldest man in Minneapolis died. Mary had to do the obituaries over the weekend. So she and Rhoda were
you love that episode.
They were getting punchy. Years later, and then remember Lou had to suspend her?
Yeah, I didn't like that episode. He was mean to her.
Years later, I interviewed Ed Asner. Ed Asner was a big 9/11 truther and whatever. But it was in the radio. We're talking about something else. So I interviewed him. I said, Ed, you don't mind me calling you Ed? He goes, no, of course not. I said, I bet you're tired of people who always think that you're Lou Grant. He goes, yeah. Because that goes to show you how effective you are, because Lou Grant was just a character. There was no Lou Grant. There was no Lou Grant. That's right. And these people who think that somehow you're Lou Grant, you're Ed Asner, you're an accomplished actor. Remember Ed Asner in Roots? Remember he was whipping?
Yeah, that was
horrible. My God, it was terrible. He was a great actor, I said. So you must get tired of people forgetting that you're Ed. Yes, I do. But I got to ask you one question. Did you really have to suspend Mary? She and Rhoda were working hard, and he says, what are you talking about? I said, Mary Tyler Moore. In any event, Mary Tyler Moore gave us one thing, Ted Baxter. Ted Baxter this was 10 years before Walter Cronkite retired. This is before we thought of Ron Burgundy. We thought of these anchors as being rubes. It was so prescient. All right. I've had enough of this. I don't know about you. I'm tired.
I have a little more work to do. And then I've got to finish the series, Brothers and Sisters and Brothers. I forgot the name.
On year what?
I think I'm in the 5th season, which is the final
Which
season.
is like 12?
No, but remember they used to make like 22 episodes a year. Now on these shows, they make 8 or 10 they might make. But they used to make, don't you remember that? Like,
well, let me thank Susan, Evan Webb, and Johnny Maz, Brad Rung, Georgie.
Look at all these beautiful people.
That's beautiful. Nelson, we love him.
They're beautiful warriors.
Beautiful warriors. Now there's Lori, by the way. Lori, tell me again. Lori likes to watch Russian I think it's airline disasters and dash cam. It's a really kind of an arcane.
I think we should be worried about that.
It's a very strange fetish, very, very violent. X, thank you so much. Let me see, Brad. Kelly Ray, by the way, and Leanne Burns. Leanne Burns, not a big fan of Wicked. Now look at this. Look at this. Kay says, the cutest couple. Oh, you know it's true. Girl, you know it's true.
Milli Vanilli. They remember they took their Grammy back.
It was
They should be taking a lot of Grammys back because a lot of people were what's it called?
Lip syncing.
I'm getting crazy now. Lip syncing. And today's singers, forget it.
They're doing it all the time.
There's very few that can really do a complete concert and like next to nothing without being punched up and
exactly.
And all you have to do is watch their mouth because it doesn't match.
X says Wham. The group
I
Wham.
liked Wham. Remember Wham?
Poor, what's his name? Andrew Ridgely. Wake me up.
No, it's a good song. Wake me up before you go.
But the Choose Life. What the hell is that?
But
was that anti-abortion? Was it anti-suicide? What was the point of that? Choose Life is like, okay. Leo and Sean lip syncing. I don't know what that means. All right, my friends. Listen, make sure you follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. She's got a great one coming up about this wicked story. There we go. Excuse me. Lori says, air disasters of any kind. Thank you so much.
I don't know. Lori, that's weird. I don't know.
I can see Lori on her Tinder. Hobbies, air disasters. Preferably that. Because people lie, of course. Lori, what if you met somebody? Here's one for you, Lori. I saw one time a show off Broadway called Charlie Victor Romeo, Cockpit Voice Recorder. It was these actors, 3 actors or 4 actors, who recreated the final moments of planes based upon what they left in the cockpit. Yeah.
Why? Where they crashed
That's
and everybody
funny.
died.
That's funny.
Why would
You're funny.
Yeah, I'm funny.
Oh, that's good.
Funny.
No, because normally I say, well, a real feel good. It's a good chick movie, good date movie.
How horrible.
Good first date. No, but they're saying things like, tell my family I love them. But normally it ends, frankly, it's normally like, holy, there's cussing and nobody says drat. But it's really good. Laura, you get a big kick out of that. Charlie Victor Romeo.
Closed early. It didn't last too long.
Now it's off Broadway. Really off. Like it was like an office.
Yeah, it was an off.
Yeah, very, very strange.
Kind of thing.
Look at Kay. Look at how sweet Kay is. Say, thank you for entertaining us tonight. No, thank you.
No, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports the Warriors and listens and shares our videos. And please subscribe. I have no shame about that. We are fighting the algorithms at all times, and we need to get any kind of information I share out there into the public.
Right.
And certainly when we have to take actions, because we need each and every one of you. And I am urging all of you, we must be vigilant, even though we have a new administration.
And this January, man won. God bless him.
But we must remain vigilant, because I'm already looking forward to 4 years from now. And that is scary. So we have to do everything as much as we can right now going forward the next 4 years, getting out and voting, teaching our kids things, just being good people. And we have to continue the path we are on.
Indeed. All right, my friends. Hey, Johnny Mazespaz says, Mr. L, did you miss my question? Yes, John, and I'd rather not discuss it. It was filthy, and I understand the subliminal referencing. I'm kidding, of course. Johnny Maz goes back and writes, Lionel, if you know who did the song to the show of American Style, you know your music for TV. Oh, of course. I mean, that was
we like the Cowsills. We went to see them live. Remember? Oh, we went on my birthday one year.
Yep.
And I remember singing along to that.
Susan Cowsill is extremely. She has one song.
She tried to do some self albums too. I don't know.
Great.
She's good.
One in particular that it's so beautiful, but I want to go out in the rain and I want to live my life.
Okay, but I loved the music, right? And I was singing
Make
along.
me happy, happy, happy.
But do you remember I didn't like
flowers in the air.
They had those hokey jokes in between. Just stand up there and sing, and everybody will be happy.
We did the hands, and
it was like wanted jazz hands, the brother.
Yeah,
and they had those hokey jokes. Just get up and do your music. And
one time, Mrs. L said, we're going to see a friend of hers. We're going to support the arts.
Which one? I've done that a lot too.
Yeah, and she had a friend of hers.
Have to be supportive.
This was the woman who reenacted the girls who were forced into prostitution, Chinese, and it looked like we were in a sauna. I don't know what it was. It was this weird. It was a weird production space where you were right there. You couldn't fall asleep. You couldn't laugh.
Like on the stage.
You were right there.
There was no stage. It was a room.
And she would like. I mean, remember that was like, what the hell?
That is performance art, and we have to be supportive of the arts.
Best one ever. Let me tell you this, but it's a true story. If I'm exaggerating, you tell me.
I made a mistake with this one.
We're in the bottom of a place in the Lower East
I
Side.
made a mistake.
It was called like Rasputin. No, KGB it was called. Remember that? I think it was called KGB. Yeah, it was something like that.
It was a basement.
It was in the basement of an
basement.
old, Lower East Side. And this guy's doing magic trick. And all of a sudden, he has a big trash bag. And he pulls it up. I've never seen a trash bag that
I thought it was just a magic show.
Yeah, he pulls it up and he drops it and he's nude. And he's jump roping. Remember that? He jump rope.
And
I thought he was going to hit his head in this little. And I'm looking and I go, what the?
And there was no stage. This was a room.
Yeah.
And he was jump roping in front of us.
Naked. And I'm not understanding, where did he get it? It was a magic trick. Where the hell did that come from?
And it was ugly. It was horrible.
Then we went one time to see this we went to see this. This was good. It was an art thing. We had a friend, kind of a friend. And this woman, she basically was a poor man's Rothko. She had like 3 colors and it was stupid. So we're at this thing on the kind of around Little Korea, right around 34th.
No, it was on 32nd Street. I
32nd,
remember
right.
distinctly.
It was a Little Korea.
In a gallery.
So anyways, I'm walking around and I look and there's a guy blindfolded. I got a picture of it on his back with like a helmet, like a army helmet. I almost stepped on him. That was an exhibit.
It was a live exhibit. And you
I
had to
almost
step
stepped
around.
on him.
You had to step around him. Remember that?
And people were saying like this, what the hell's the matter with this guy? You okay?
He wasn't roped off or anything. It was just
right.
sprawled
And
in the
people
middle
were
of the floor.
saying, are you okay? Because they thought he fell or he hurt himself.
Yeah, that was
He's wearing a helmet. He was the art. That was weird. Very odd. We did some other great ones too.
We've done a lot. We've done a lot. Try to forget about some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them.
In any event, listen, you have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m., my friends.
Everybody.
And don't forget, until then, my friends, don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. And don't forget,
I love you.
and don't forget, love you too. Don't forget, Monkey's Dead, show's over, sue you.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.